The question, "Are you related to John and Jacqueline Bath?" has haunted me for the past 6 years. When I came to Wake Forest University, where no one knew anything about me or my family, I never processed that I would be creating my own identity without preconceptions created by my siblings. Being compared to my siblings was something I had grown accustomed to. I went into every year of middle school and high school expecting to gain a fresh start with new teachers, but within the first minutes of entering a new class, I was already being compared to my older siblings.
It is widely believed that birth order influences the way we grow up. Each relationship between child and parent is affected by our birth order, the commitment between family members, the time spent together, and ultimately the niche that we find within our family atmosphere. In some ways, each child is born into a different family.
My name is Natalie Bath, and the family I was born into is the family of a youngest child, the daughter of Jay and Judy, and the baby sister of John and Jacqueline, who are 8 and 6 years older than me. This large age gap prompted me to think over the years. Am I who I am because I was born last?
Research discussing birth order and personality has varied in its findings. A study performed by Al Millerin and Mike Dubrovich from the Journal of Individual Psychology have claimed that the youngest child in the family is the most spoiled and has the least amount of responsibilities. This causes them to be more sensitive and self-conscious, but still likely to become successful. However, Damien and Roberts wrote in the Journal of Research and Personality that from looking for traits like sociability, social sensitivity, and self-confidence, they have not found strong evidence to conclude that birth order has an effect on personality and intelligence.
My personal experiences, however, led me to believe that being a youngest child has affected my personality. As a kid, I always wanted to play with my siblings and older cousins, but they wouldn't want me to hang out with them because they had to watch their language or couldn't watch shows that I was too young for. I grew up playing games with my parents that they no longer enjoyed. At times, it made me feel inferior. I remember when my grandmother had a stroke, I felt especially isolated. Despite my cousins and siblings visiting her in the hospital, my parents were hesitant to let me see her. They weren't sure how I'd handle it. After this incident, I felt a drop of self-confidence. I felt my maturity slip and believed I was overly sensitive and reliant on others. I grew more reliant on my parents as my siblings moved out of the house. Living at home for 6 years by myself meant I received a lot of their attention. Because I socialized with them at home, I became less social outside of the house. I became closely bonded with my mom and as a result, much more sensitive. A lot of my sensitivity has come from pressure though too. Despite being babied, I always felt I had a great deal to live up to. For example, my brother played 3 varsity sports throughout high school, and my sister played 2. My sophomore year of high school, I quit lacrosse to focus on field hockey, but felt a great deal of guilt because I knew I was letting my parents down. Applying to colleges was made harder by the standards set by my siblings, and even now, I'm under pressure to really succeed because both John and Jacqueline were offered jobs immediately after graduation. While this has made me more sensitive, it has also led me to be more successful. Because I had the pressure from my parents, friends, teachers, and coaches to live up to the standards my siblings created for me, and because I'm a competitive person, I've spent my life trying to accomplish what my siblings have. It's sometimes hard to imagine how different I would be if I was not the youngest child. I realize that my experiences will always differ from my siblings simply because of the way we grew up. While I was embarrassed about feeling homesick when I first came to college, while my siblings had an easy transition, I now realize that it was natural because of my strong connection to my parents at home and my developed sensitivity. Despite a lack of strong research concluding that personalities change based on birth order, I truly feel that it is a factor that has shaped me. Being a youngest child is a staple in my identity and how I define myself. I also realize that my experience is not definitive for everyone else's. The gap in conclusive research indicates that each person has a unique experience as a youngest child, rather than saying that youngest children will definitively share certain traits. The disagreement in findings among sources indicate that while a birth order may push someone's personality in a certain direction, as it did for me, it will in no way have set-in-stone effects or influence everyone in the same way. This incongruity shows that our potential as an individual is much more strongly affected by factors involved in personal experience and in groups that we choose for ourselves, rather than the ones we are born into.